Hey everyone, I'm here with another knife review. This is the Benchmade 810 Contego. This is the Knifeworks Exclusive version. Normally it comes with, I believe, just a solid all black G10 handle instead of the blue and black layer that you're seeing there. It also normally comes with, I believe, an M4 blade steel with a coating on it, so that way it's not as susceptible to rust, because M4 is you can get it to rust very easily. This comes with a much preferred M390 blade steel. So that is pretty awesome. I'm a huge fan of that. As you can see, it kind of has that satin machined finish on the blade. So we can get this to focus in. There we go. Comes with a very nice consistent edge. It's very sharp. Very nice looking knife. You have the same millwork that you had on the other Contegos. It's just this has the different G10. And you have the same spikes sticking out, which are basically their jimping. Very aggressive jimping. Works very good as a tactical blade. The difference is the normal Contego comes with a little glass breaker spike at the end here. This one does not. I kind of wish they would have put that on there, but not the end of the world. It comes with a really nice, this is my favorite Benchmade pocket clip. Deep carry, but there's still enough there to grab onto to get out of your pocket easily. Very, very nice. It's funny, I've seen these pocket clips alone sell on eBay for like $40, $45 sometimes. And I have to say, I've actually bought a couple for 15 bucks. I think I bought like 4 of them for $15 each over the past couple years, just because they're the perfect Benchmade pocket clip in my opinion, and I actually try to put them on all my Benchmades. So that I did with my 940 here. Anyhow, love the clip, love design, very, very ergonomic and comfortable in the hand, aside from all the spikes, but that's good for traction. They have the same sort of aggressive spikes or jimping on this big steel backspacer here. All steel hardware, that legendary access lock, I'm a big fan of that. This is what it looks like all closed up. It's a large knife, that's really what we're looking at here. It's a very large knife. You're looking at a 4-inch blade. If you round up, I think it's like 3.98 inches they're saying. But it's got that same reverse tanto blade that I'm so fond of, and has proven itself over the years to be so versatile and durable, reliable. It's just got it all going for it. Some similar blades that are knives from Benchmade that have this sort of blade design is the Rift, and as I showed you before, the 940. So it's a very successful blade design for Benchmade, and it has been a very useful blade design for myself and many others that I know who use it. So like I said, I think this knife will really do well in a lot of different roles, but it's definitely a knife you could put into a tactical role because of the ergos, the design, and the jimping. The traction is very high. If you're going to do heavy cutting or tasks with this, because of this steel spike jimping design, I would highly recommend you using gloves, because that might not go over so well with our soft skin. Even if you have calluses, it'll wear through it. Trust me, I know, I learned that the hard way. But very nice design. It's actually lighter than you might think it would be. Coming in at 5.7 ounces for such a large, robust knife, I thought it might be heavier, but it's pretty cool that they did all of the milling inside the steel liners here. That actually helps save a little bit of weight. Flow-through design partially is nice, so you can get whatever crap you might get into the handle out easily, you know, aside from that backspacer there. But I think that backspacer is justified because of the jimping. They probably could have, you know, trimmed it back a little bit to where the jimping ends, but they extended it up here so that way they could anchor it in with an additional screw that goes through to make everything really solid. Beautiful, solid lockup, zero blade play in any direction. Very, very smooth action, buttery smooth. It's impressive how smooth the action is for being on washers. It really is. You know, all these new knives coming out with ball bearings. I've seen some with ball bearings that are very similar to the action here. So you get a lot of precision with this particular knife. The tolerances are really tight. Like I said, the lockup is solid. I'm not seeing any movement in the blade. And I've thumped on this and a couple of its counterparts, a couple other variations of this knife. I've really beat on pretty hard, and it's held up really, really well. Let's see why my camera is not focusing here. That's weird. Sorry about that. So some comparisons, some other knives, because what we're talking about here, aside from a tactical knife, is a large EDC knife. This knife is a 4-inch blade, right? So I figured I could throw in some other 4-inch blade knives to compare. That is the Sequoia, made by Custom Knife Factory. This is the legendary Decepticon, again, Custom Knife Factory. Another 4-inch blade, or just about. And last but definitely not least, zero tolerance 0454 204P. Russian exclusive. So these are all very large knives. They have that in common. Some of them have a little more in common than others. Really, the ones from Custom Knife Factory have the least amount in common with the Contego, because in my opinion they're really not a tactical knife. Don't get me wrong, this Decepticon here could do some serious damage. I mean, that blade is awesome, and it's long, and it's just got a sweet design, and it looks scary. But realistically, it's not very ergonomic. Okay, I'm not saying that it's a nightmare to hold. I'm just saying it doesn't compare. It doesn't have as much traction. It has plenty of hot spots if you're going to do some heavy cutting. And I just don't think that it's as practical for hard use, even though I'm sure it's built. It's so solidly built, I know it would be doing just fine. I've seen a couple people crazy enough to take this out and thump on them, and they actually performed very well. So I'm sure it's capable. It's just its design itself is not really the best for traction and ergonomics. So, you know, it's a beautiful knife, badass knife, but I don't think it's the best one out there for doing tactical sort of work. And it's really not the best one out there to even consider for an EDC, a large everyday carry knife. It's just very thick and it's heavy. So then we kind of get down to the Sequoia here, which is a really gorgeous knife, very refined, just impressive design. And it's fairly lightweight. It's really a lot lighter than the Decepticon. It's 5.4 ounces, and it's not overly thick or anything like that, so it's not bad in the pocket. And when it's folded, it has this teardrop design, which allows for it to be even more comfortable in the pocket because you have less mass up towards the top where it's clipped to the pocket and more mass down towards the bottom, so it gets out of your way. But even that being said, and as nice of a knife this is, it's not something I'd put into a tactical role because it doesn't have a lot of traction. But it could potentially be a large EDC knife because it is so much lighter than that Decepticon. And it is just a tiny bit lighter than the Contego here. So could it be an everyday carry, a large everyday carry knife? Yeah, I definitely think it could, even though it's so large. I think it's also because of its slender design. I think that really allows for it to be a contender for a good EDC knife like the Contego here. Again, the Contego I don't think is the ideal large everyday carry knife. I think the Sequoia would probably be a better one just because it's a little bit lighter, and when it's folded up it doesn't take up as much space. See that? It's just the Sequoia is so much more narrow when it's closed, and they're about the same thickness. So I think just little things like that would make the Sequoia a little bit better of an option for EDC. But the Contego that we're talking about here is only, it's like $182 all the way up to, I don't know, $200 for this version. The Sequoia there is, I think, if I recall, I think it's right around 400. So it's kind of like, how much more comfortable in the pocket is this going to be for a large everyday carry, and is it worth spending twice as much? For those reasons alone, probably not. But for the design and how advanced with everything, with the level of refinement in the Sequoia, yeah, it's definitely worth the price. But again, just saying, the Contego, I think it's a little bit more hefty and just a larger design and build. So it might not be ideal for a large EDC carry option. Again, it will excel in a tactical role, where the Decepticon and the Sequoia will not. Lastly, the Zero Tolerance 0454. This, in my opinion, is one of the best large EDC options out there, but I think that the Contego would probably be a somewhat better option for a tactical folder. This is not per se smooth. I mean, it kind of is, but the ergos are so amazing, and it locks up so well in your hand. The flipper for the hand guard here, or the finger guard, the mild jimping, and the milling that you see here gives it a little bit extra traction too. I would totally not hesitate to put the Zero Tolerance into a tactical role, but I don't think it's a specialized tactical tool like the Contego is. I think the Contego takes all of these on the table for a tactical folder. I think it's just got so much more traction, and I think it's got a much more durable tip than some of the other options here. I think it just could take more of a beating. We're comparing like steels here too. This is 204p. This is M390. They're the same thing. So, it's not that the blade steel can't perform like the Contego can. It's just, it's more slender and narrow up here, and you just have such a strong tip here. I think it's going to be a lot more durable and take a lot more abuse. So again, to recap, the Contego is really a better tactical utility hard use folder. Highly recommend using it with gloves. But if you want something that's going to be as large as a Contego, that could be put into a tactical role and still do a very good job doing it, but is probably more realistically a large everyday carry folder, I would have to give it to the 0454 by a substantial margin. I think it's a lot better. But again, if you're looking for something more utilitarian, something more hard use, something more tactical, the Contego takes the cake. And I think for the price and for the materials you're getting here with the Contego, it's really hard to find anything that's going to be comparable. The price is really right. I mean, for just under $200 for this size of blade, this design of blade, and this type of blade steel, good luck finding something better. Really. It's pretty awesome. So I just wanted to give you some thoughts on that, give you some comparisons. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a larger folding knife like this. Take a look at the Contego. It's pretty awesome. And if you aren't worried about the rust or the corrosion on the M4, and you really would like to have that extra glass breaker, because Lord knows I would love to have that on this knife, then that option's available too. I hope they continue producing these knives. I think that they offer a lot of value and a lot of function for the cost, and I'd like to see some other variations of it come out. So thanks again for watching, and please like and subscribe.